The year 2011 began with a flood in Australia so vast it turned an area larger than Texas into a disaster zone. Little did we know then, there was much worse to come. In January, earthquakes hit Argentina, Chile, Iran, Pakistan, Tajikistan, and Tonga. In February, they hit Burma, the Pacific Islands, and the big one in Christchurch, New Zealand. Buildings were toppled, scores buried, 181 died. Survivors who crawled from collapsed office buildings were stunned.
It just came down, like, right down.
But the monster earthquake of 2011 was something out of a science fiction movie. The Great Japan earthquake was one of the strongest in recorded history. From 20 miles underwater, it created a tsunami 130 feet high that traveled 6 miles inland, causing cars and boats to bob like toys. It was a quake so powerful it moved the island of Honshu 8 feet. More than 15,000 people died and almost 5,000 are missing. Then, in a terrible twist, after the quake knocked out power at the Fukushima nuclear plant, the tsunami washed out its backup generators, the last line of defense against overheating. It would be the world's first triple meltdown, spreading radiation over a wide area. It was the worst disaster to afflict Japan since World War II. The world was still in shock when the southern and eastern United States experienced the worst rash of tornadoes in recorded weather history. The 2011 super outbreak, as it was called, included 4 monster EF5 tornadoes and led to almost 350 deaths and more than $6 billion in insured losses.
Tornadoes coming to the city! Massive tornado, massive destruction.
Then, just weeks later, on a Sunday afternoon in May, a mile-wide, multiple-vortex EF5 tornado plowed through Joplin, Missouri, obliterating whole sections of the town, killing 159 people and causing an estimated $2 billion in insured losses. The insurance industry was reeling. Americans were in shock. Dr. Vincent Synan, author of 19 books and Dean Emeritus at Regent University, says the unprecedented string of calamities has forced many Americans to ask why.
It's a sobering thing for even modern man to face up to natural disasters that don't make any sense at all and to hit randomly in the world and may hit you. The question you had in the back of their minds, what does this mean?
And unfortunately, the world's worst disasters could still be ahead, like a Category 5 hurricane making a direct hit on a large American city. But experts also study other scenarios many of us have never heard of. Geologists have warned that heavy rains on Mount Rainier in Washington state could cause a huge, deadly 40-mile mudslide, moving at 60 miles per hour and filled with rocks and trees. Some fear the collapse of the giant volcanic mountain Cumbre Vieja in the Canary Islands could send an 80-foot-high tsunami into the east coast of the United States at 600 miles per hour. And along the Mississippi, a catastrophic quake at the giant New Madrid Fault would cause utter devastation to America's heartland. Many Americans might think they live in one of the safest periods in world history. But do they? Why have so many natural disasters struck the planet this year?
It brings people to
Some of you wasn't in here when, even though we talked about when Cesar surrounded the city in AD 66, and then there was voices in the temple. The priests, they was frightened. They had a comet hanging over the city for a whole year in its form of a sword. Then different things, a lot of natural disasters was occurring, all the things that Jesus told us to watch for. And remember that we had just discussed about Paul saying the gospel has now been preached to every creature under heaven. That was AD 64. So then when this happened, there was the citizens and the peoples of the city of Jerusalem was able to look up in the sky, and they seen, looked like chariots and men of war on the clouds. It was just like we looking at television. It's just like they seen all these different things. God sent lots of signs to warn them to the time had ran out. It's time to And he told same thing today. He says, watch, watch. And when you see all of these things, know that it is near, even at the doors, and that this generation shall not pass. So here Jerusalem was surrounded with these armies and stuff once they seen all these signs. And here, this is, I won't go in all now because I have time before I leave. So you'll see some of the things that we see in today. And this is the one of the ones that you didn't see yesterday. I had the one with the English speaking, but this is Chinese language. Yes.
这在大陆广东佛山这边，日前却出现了海市蜃楼景观。这个杰比零四的大楼呢，矗立在云层当中，引发大家热议。但是当地的民众大多没有看到，网友就质疑说，这会不会是拍到镜面折射出来的效果？
So it yeah, look like buildings, and then I have it where they seen, it was in the Atlanta paper where they seen cars, look like cars and everything, in the streets and the whole works. So I'll have it ready for you hopefully by tomorrow. I'll look it up and pull it because they said that's what really got me about that. The buildings, and so we need to know that when that takes place, it's time to flee the large cities because destruction is coming. So he wants us to be out when that takes place.
Can you show us a picture of the cloud, city in the sky again, please?
Yeah.
You believe this look like almost like Hollywood?
I know.
But no, that was in
Remember,
reported
we
in
just saw
different.
this on the internet about
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
But they have a.
They did,
The
huh?
house, the building, and the horses. We saw it on the internet about 2 weeks ago. He ain't showed it yet.
Say what now?
Oh, so
We
you
just
seen
saw
it
this
too.
on the internet about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Houses and horses
In the
and
clouds?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can literally
See,
see
we
horses made out of clouds.
And that's what I'm trying to say. We check these things out to make sure it's true.
Yeah.
Because we know how Hollywood does.
Right.
these
Yeah,
things. But
exactly.
this is not.
I mean, I thought they were gonna do like interview people, but we seeing it. That's like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's under.
That's very,
I know.
very
That would
good.
be-
Because I have at different places.
That would be mind blowing to go out
I
and see
know
that.
it.
Okay, here we go.
这在大陆广东佛山这边，日前却出现了海市蜃楼景观。
And
Those buildings are
Clouds, yeah.
yeah, those are clouds.
I
They
wonder if
are-
they can make
Can we see it?
海市蜃楼景
There you
观
go. See it?
这个杰比零四的大楼呢，矗立在云层当中，引发大家热议。但是当地的民众大多没有看到，网友就质疑说，这会不会是拍到镜面折射出来的效
Land,
果？
and then they showed up to volunteers to have another word of prayer.